Okay, clap in. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Close. Close enough.
We tried. Um, well, it's so interesting because I was thinking about it, and I call you Bill, but are you known in the industry as William, right?
On credits, it's William, but I'm known as Bill.
Do you want to know how I know that?
How?
Is that when I met you, we were doing Alice Cooper's Christmas Pudding, and you told me your name. You're like, I'm Bill Fay. So you're like, come if you come to LA, and my wife and I would love to have dinner with you. And so I got nominated for an LA Music Award, and we went to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I never went to the music award because we had such a great time at dinner. But then you were like, yeah, I would love for you to come see what I do. And I was like, what do you do? What is it that you do? And you're like, yeah, I'm in the movie business, but I really didn't understand the gravity of it until I drove to your work and it was Warner Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, who is this man? And then when you told me your credits, William Fay, I looked you up and was just like blown away because you are so humble and so kind and
Oh, thank you.
also incredible musician. But okay, so I always start off with an intro. My guest today is Bill Fay, William Fay. Bill is one of the key architects behind modern blockbuster cinema. As a co-founder and president of production at Legendary Pictures, he helped build the studio from the ground up and oversaw some of the most successful and influential films of the last few decades. During his time at Legendary and earlier at Centropolis Entertainment, is that correct?
That's it.
Bill served as a producer and executive producer on landmark films including Independence Day, The Dark Knight, 300, The Hangover, Superman Returns, The Patriot, Clash of the Titans, The Town, and Sucker Punch, just to name a few. Just a few films.
I didn't actually produce The Dark Knight, but we did finance it.
Okay.
Our company, Legendary.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. That's huge.
That worked out well for us.
Yeah, it did. These films were huge blockbusters. They helped define genres, reshape landscape storytelling, but behind the pressure of massive budget and global expectations, Bill remained grounded. He's a gifted musician, a devoted husband to his wife, Jody, and a proud father of 3 daughters and a grandson now.
Amazing.
Yes. He is such a beacon of light, I think, in an industry that often demands everything. Bill has built an extraordinary career rooted in integrity and family. I'm just so excited to have you on the podcast. Thank you
Great to be here.
so much. Thank you. Well, just those credits, it's just incredible what you've done. And I think I was wondering, like, how did you get into the film industry?
Well, I was going to, I grew up in Washington State and was at Stanford, and I started taking some movie courses there. I never planned to get in the business at all.
What did you plan on
I
doing?
was planning on going to business school or law school.
You went to Stanford.
Yeah.
So, gosh, that's an incredible school to get into.
It was an amazing school to go to.
Yeah.
But I got bitten by the movie bug, so I ended up going to UCLA Film School. And after UCLA Film School, got in the business.
How did you get bit by the film bug at Stanford?
I took a writing course and an acting course and just got really fascinated by the business. And,
Wow.
and actually went to UCLA originally to write scripts.
That's incredible. So did you go to UCLA Film? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
It's a
UCLA
different-
Film School. Yeah, and I went to grad school
Wow.
there as well. And it's the great thing about film school is, first of all, you get to meet lots of other people that want to work in the film business.
Yeah.
So that's good. And secondly, you get your hands on everything. So I did sound, editing, camera, directing. You
Yeah.
have to direct a couple of your own movie projects.
Yeah.
Producing. So you learn a little bit of everything, which is great. When you get in the business, then you sort of know how things work.
Yeah, you understand everybody's jobs.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can jump in and do something if you need to. One of the first movies I did was actually with for this company called Roger Corman, and they made all these low budget movies. And I was working as a PA, and at one point they needed a second unit, and they needed an assistant camera on it. And so I was like, "Oh yeah, I can do that."
You're like, I got this.
Yeah, got it.
And it's also great that you're in LA because you're around the industry so much. Don't you think that's important?
Yeah, I think you almost have to be.
Yeah.
Definitely then. A little less now because the business is more spread out. But then you kind of had to be in LA or maybe New York.
Yeah. Okay, so you were just showing me a photo of your father
Mhm.
who I mean, it's an incredible photo. Maybe I'll be able to add it into the
Hmm.
podcast, but tell about where you got your ethic from, and I think I assume it's from your family.
Yeah, definitely. I got it from my father. He worked as a logger or tree cutter, like
Ooh.
a lumberjack, I guess is what you'd call it,
Yeah, it's incredible.
for a long time. And then he started his own business, and he worked like crazy. And we definitely learned a work ethic from him. He got up at 4 in the morning every morning to go to work, up in the mountains in the rain and snow and
Yeah.
cold, and hiking up these steep hills.
Wow.
And it was amazing. I
May
knew pretty early on that it wasn't going to suit me.
tell
It was way too much work.
say what you said earlier.
Oh yeah, I mean, because you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning every morning to go to work, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to do that for like my lifetime job.
Yeah.
Then of course, when the movie business, you get up at 4 in the morning all the time to go shoot something.
Yeah.
So, but
Oh,
it's temporary.
yeah, that is so true. Okay, what was the first movie that you made that made you fall in love with storytelling?
Um, Good question. I mean, a couple of the low budget things I did were not very good scripts. I wrote a couple of scripts, actually, that got made into a movie. And so that kind of got me excited. But then worked with a friend from Seattle, and we raised a little bit of money, and we made our own little independent film. And that really
Wow.
kind of got me started on that. And
Yeah.
then worked on a couple of great little um, sort of cult movies, like one Night of the Comet, which was this great script, this great little script for a movie that we did, I think for like 2 million bucks, um, that I didn't write or produce, but I worked on it as like the unit manager. So I got to be around,
Yeah.
some really quality stuff.
And it ignited in you this
Yeah.
yeah, that's so cool. What movie do you think people would be surprised to know took so much more work than you could have ever imagined?
Um, hmm. I mean, Independence Day, definitely,
Mm.
but I think people would probably imagine that
Yeah.
was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
And why
but
was
even
it?
so,
Why was it
because
overlooked?
I mean, it's still probably the greatest movie experience of my life because we were all young. We, it was our first big movie. Um, well, the director had done Stargate, but this was the first really big movie. And so we didn't have all that much money to work with. So we were making this giant, we felt like we were making the biggest low budget movie in history.
Yeah.
And so it was just an incredible amount of work because we couldn't afford to work with any of the major visual effects houses. So we actually had set up work with about 8 different visual effects houses. So we were just running around like maniacs all the time
I
trying to
didn't know
figure it
that.
out. Yeah. It worked out great, but it was an incredible amount of work.
Oh my
And that's
gosh, yeah.
definitely probably in terms of all the hours put in the hardest.
Did you know that it was gonna be a huge success?
It was one of those things where every decision seemed to be the right decision.
Mm.
Like we hired Will Smith and
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
It just seemed to be the right decision. We um, did tests on the way the fire rolled through the street, and we realized that we found something that was just amazing for that.
Mm.
We, every decision seemed to be right, but the biggest thing was we put out. So we felt good about it, but then we put this trailer out that came out during the Super Bowl, and people just went nuts for it.
Oh.
It
Something you want to add to this briefing, Captain Hiller?
No, sir. Just a little anxious to get up there and whoop ET's ass, that's all.
just sense if a movie is going to be great.
Yeah.
And they can also sense if a movie's not going to work. You can do all the promotion in the world, and
Yeah.
people just end up going, no, I'm not going to show up for that.
Yeah.
So it's a weird business. But yeah, it was crazy.
Is there a movie that you've done that you thought would do incredible that did not?
Let me think. A couple of them. Yeah, I worked on a movie called We Are Marshall, which was a
Oh,
great
it's one of my
football
favorite
movie.
movies.
I love that movie, and it came out
Yeah.
great, and it did okay, but it didn't do nearly as well as I thought it was going to do.
Yeah. That's
And people
interesting.
always, yeah, lots of people tell me how much they love that
Oh, I
movie,
love it
but
so
it
much.
just didn't catch, we just weren't able to catch the right audience at the right time.
That's interesting. Because I know I have so many friends who love that movie so much.
Hmm.
So I think it's incredible, but it's heavy. And so,
Yeah,
hmm
it is.
yeah,
And it's about football, which means that most people outside the United States didn't really have that much interest in seeing it.
not the
So
right,
there's that.
not the right football.
Yeah, right. Wrong football.
Wrong football. Is there an actor or an actress that was your favorite to work with looking back?
A few of them. I mean, offhand, I would say probably Will Smith was amazing to work with. He's incredibly charismatic, brings incredible energy to the set. He works his butt off. He um, he is one of those people that just by their charisma elevates the set. Just when they walk on, everybody wants to do
Yeah.
a great job when they're working with him. So I really enjoyed
Yeah.
working with him. And, I run into him every once in a while, and we still talk about what a great experience that was. And obviously great for his career, too.
Huge for his career. I
Yeah.
feel like it was like the turning point for his career for
Hmm.
sure. It's interesting because I love him so much. I love all the movies he's done, but I do think he's just so like charismatic. Even it's so amazing how that gets it's translated even on the screen.
Yeah. Really,
Yeah.
it really comes across.
Yeah. What about your favorite actress that you've worked with?
Um, I got to work with Drew Barrymore when she was about 19 years old, which is really great.
Really cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
On a Western, which was even better.
No
Yeah,
way.
called Bad Girls.
Okay.
Um, um, who else did I work with that I really loved? On The Town, we worked with Blake Lively, who I thought was incredible, did an amazing job. That was really a great
Oh yeah. With Ben
movie.
Affleck, right?
Yeah, with Ben
Yeah.
Affleck, who was also great to work with.
Yeah.
But I think really did a great job of showing what her capabilities were.
Yeah. Yeah, she's such a great actress. When you look back, what is the funniest or most unexpected moment that you experienced on set that people wouldn't even imagine? Just
Oh, wow.
there's probably so I know there's got to be so
There are
many.
so many of them. There's so many of
I
them.
know one thing you told me is that you were doing when you were doing the Hangover, you told me about Zach Galifianakis. You told me that Zach came up to you and you guys were doing Dark Knight, remember? And he's like, I can play Batman.
Yes.
And I remember, and you were like with that voice and just his total amazing personality. I mean,
I think he even said, I'm Batman.
yes. When you told me that story, I just remember all of us were laughing so hard. Is it just like that every day, kind of throughout?
It's a crazy business that way. I mean, every movie you do is so different.
Hmm.
I mean, or one minute you're working on this giant sci-fi movie, and then you're making a movie like The Patriot about the American Revolution, and you learn more about the revolution than you ever thought you'd know.
Hmm.
And different things come up on the set. There's always a challenge. There's always something coming up. And if you're working with great people, though, it's an amazing experience. It's one of those things where you can't wait for it to end because you're exhausted, but then you don't want it to end because you've got this
Yeah.
amazing team. I mean, The Hangover is a great example of just a really fun movie to
Yeah.
work on.
And talk about totally changing the trajectory of those actors' careers. I
Yeah.
feel like The Hangover did.
Yeah.
But that was I don't know that any of us were prepared to go into that movie and love it and laugh as much as we did. I mean, I feel like it changed movies. I feel
Yeah.
like it changed comedy for sure. I mean, I just remember being like, this is the most hysterical movie I've ever seen.
And one of the great things I think was the fact that we did cast people that were, I mean, they certainly weren't unknowns. I mean, they'd all done
Right.
stuff and they were certainly respected for what they'd done, but they hadn't really
They
broken
weren't like,
out. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Which was interesting because at one point the studio had talked about whether we bring in Will Ferrell or Adam Sandler or both, or,
Yeah.
do we cast it just with big comedy stars? And I think it worked out great the way it happened because
Yeah.
you really discover those guys.
You know what?
You know?
That's very interesting. So when you go into making a movie, does the studio so do you have actors in mind when you're creating a movie?
Sometimes you do, usually you don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
usually
interesting.
you don't.
And so what does that process look like? You work with the studio
Hmm.
and you work with casting agents and then everybody kind of throws around different
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when we were looking at Independence Day, I mean, the studio's first suggestion was Brad Pitt,
Oh wow.
which they pushed very hard on. And I'm sure he would have been great in the role, but
yeah,
it's hard to think about it now
yeah.
without Will Smith in that role.
That is amazing.
Uh,
Okay, did they have other ideas?
I don't really remember on that movie, but we always felt great about Jeff Goldblum. I think that part basically was written
Yeah,
for Jeff
so
Goldblum.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really sort of had to be him.
Yeah, it had to be. I love him so
Yeah.
much.
And
Um,
then you have films like, The Patriot, where, I mean, Mel Gibson was the biggest star in the world at the
yeah.
time. And, once he says he wants to do it, then you're making a movie.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so true.
Mhm.
I loved him in that movie. I
He
think
did a great job, and he was amazing to work with in that movie, too.
yes. I mean, such an incredible, inspiring, powerful movie.
Hmm.
It's so interesting because I've asked a lot of people, what is your favorite movie? Doing the podcast, and The Patriots come up quite a bit.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's so fun. It's very interesting. So did you who was the one who fought for Will Smith to be the leading role for Independence Day?
The writer, producer, and the director, Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin,
Wow,
did most of the fighting on that one, for
that's
sure.
really cool.
They really pushed for it. They really pushed for it. And Will hadn't really done, I mean, he'd done Bad
Yeah.
Boys. So again, people certainly knew who he was,
Yeah.
but they were looking for, a star at that kind of a level.
Yeah. You're like, he's done Fresh Prince, Bad Boys,
Mhm.
but you have Brad Pitt.
Yeah, but he was perfect. The interesting thing is Roland, the director, really fell in love with him from that tiny movie that he did with Donald Sutherland, and I'm forgetting the name of it, which
I know.
was
Yeah.
it's not a
Yeah.
comedy or action movie or anything else. It's where Will Smith is sort of like impersonating somebody,
Yeah.
essentially, but he really liked him
He's
from that.
so talented.
On the Patriot, we did an amazing scout for the casting for the person to play Mel's son, and we looked everywhere, and we had crazy scouts all over the world looking for who was going to play that part, and it really came down to two people, and we ended up going with Heath Ledger, who I think was
Mhm.
19 or something at the time, and it turned out to be the perfect choice.
Perfect choice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think he is one of the greatest actors.
He is incredible.
He
Yeah.
is.
And I got to work with him early on and late on too. He was just an amazing guy and a real talent.
Yeah. And so tragic what
Hmm.
happened to him. But my goodness, I mean, his acting in The Dark Knight is just him and Christian Bale. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that is amazing.
yeah, it's pretty incredible. I honestly don't think there is another Batman. I mean, I don't want to get in trouble saying this, but I just don't think that there is another Batman movie that compares to that movie.
It's hard to top it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to top it. And we were just so
Yeah.
fortunate to be involved. Actually, Batman Begins, when we created Legendary Pictures, Batman Begins was the first movie that we were involved. We came in very late on it, but we stepped in and
Yeah.
financed that. And through that, we got to be involved with the whole Batman trilogy
That's incredible.
as co-producers, our company. So
Wow.
it was an amazing experience.
How did you go from, you know, getting this bug for film and then owning like one of the biggest production companies in the world?
It was, I mean, I got a great experience working with Roland and Dean at Centropolis. I was president of Centropolis for a long time, and had always wanted to see if there was a way to put together financing to do a slate of movies. That's what producers need to do. You need to be making movies. And actually, while we were working at Legendary, I met this young guy from private equity, Thomas Tull, who was fascinated by the movie business, and we kind of hung out and got to be friends. And
Mm.
one day we're just actually sitting on the set of a friend's movie, and he said we should just start our own movie company.
Oh, wow.
And so we, which sounds pretty crazy,
No.
but he had amazing connections on the financing side, and I sort of knew the Hollywood side, and we got a couple of other people,
Mhm.
great people involved, and it came together.
That's incredible. But I think that's the thing I love about this industry is people going for it. You have to go for it. You have to take the risk, take the leap of faith.
Sure, I took 2 mortgages out on my house because we were not getting paid for the 2 years we were
Yeah.
putting that together.
And was that with having a wife and kids?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was scary.
Very scary. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about I love Bill's wife, Jody, so much. I love your
Me
wife.
too.
She's so wonderful. I was so glad to see her today. We're at their beautiful home in California, in LA, and it is truly stunning, but it's also a historic landmark. Is that right? In
Yeah.
LA? Is it number 25?
Yes.
Yes, I can. So
Historic
tell
landmark number 25.
historic, and where their daughters have had like 2 out of 3 weddings and going to have their
The
3rd
third
one.
one's coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, they are in an incredible season right now. They just became grandparents. Their daughter just got engaged and their other daughter just got married.
Yeah, it's all happening.
I'm so happy for
Life is
you.
happening
I'm
fast.
so happy for you guys. Tell us about how you and Jody met.
Yes. Well, we met. I was going to UCLA grad school, film, and this job offer came up to work as an assistant to a couple of producers and also their post production supervisor. And so I went in for the interview. Jody was their assistant slash receptionist, and I interviewed for the job, and it came down to 2 guys, me and this like tall, handsome, incredible looking guy who Jody really wanted them to hire.
She told me that.
Yeah. I ended up getting the job, and she was very upset about that because she really liked the other guy. And so she would do things like not give me my messages on time and all this stuff. So we basically
You like
disliked
butted
we
heads.
really disliked each other.
Wow.
And for the first month I was there. And so after about a month, I went to her and I said, listen, let's call a truce. I've got an extra ticket to a movie, like a preview screening, and I'm going with all my friends. Why don't you just come with me? And so we went to that. And after the movie, we had this, it was all friends of mine from Stanford and UCLA. And we had this amazing discussion for 3 or 4 hours after that. And she went, oh, this guy's, maybe there's something to this. He's not so bad.
She said it was the best decision that's ever been that you worked there and that you are the biggest blessing of her entire life.
It worked out pretty great for
Yeah.
both of us, for sure.
That's so sweet. Were you inseparable from that moment pretty much on?
No, we went through all sorts of stuff. She had another boyfriend back home. He showed up eventually.
It's an entire movie.
Yeah. We got engaged and then we got disengaged. We got divorced before we ever got married. So we got that out of the way.
Yeah,
That's our theory.
that's right. No, I love that.
Yeah.
We should all try that. So we don't have to go. That's advice that's a takeaway from the podcast.
Exactly.
Break up before you get married so
Uh-huh.
you don't have to break up. So really, that's interesting. So how long did it take for you guys to end up kind of coming back together, getting married? And
It was 9 years.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. And there were 2 years in there after we'd been engaged the first time where we barely even saw each other.
Oh wow.
And then we got back together.
How did you get back together?
She was flying back to LA, or she was back in LA, flew back to LA, and she went to lunch with my mom,
Oh.
and she was going to drop my mom off at my house. And my mom said, well, you should just come in and say hello at least. And she came in, and then
Oh.
it sort of rekindled.
That's really sweet, actually. Okay, so were you heartbroken during that period of the breakup?
Yeah, it was tough. Both of us were.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, I mean, there was a lot of time in there. We sort of
Yep.
got over it to a certain extent. We were both dating other people.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
It's
I
weird
mean,
the way life works that way.
it is, but breakups are just so brutal in the moment. Even
Mhm.
for that first, people always say, "Oh, get over it in 3 months." I'm like, sometimes it takes a year. It just
Yeah, it
yeah.
takes a long
I
time.
think so too. I feel like if your heart was truly invested and you really love the person, it takes a lot longer to heal.
Mhm.
And I think people want to busy themselves or distract themselves, but really the truth is it's always like sitting there. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and you can dive into work or do anything like that, but
yeah.
that's not changing what happened.
No. And it's interesting because a lot of my friends who do that, they don't like deal with their feelings head on and
Mhm.
deal with it. That next year, they're like a mess over the breakup. And you're like, wait, why aren't you over it? And you're like, oh, they just threw themselves into work or dating other people and didn't deal with it.
Right.
So,
They just put it off.
yeah. And it's like, that's not the way to go because it doesn't get anybody anywhere. But I believe Independence Day will probably be this answer. But out of all the films that you've worked on, do you have a favorite?
I have a couple of them,
Okay.
but Independence Day is definitely on the list because I mean, as I said, we were all young producers. I mean, we were all young producer, young director, young writer. It was
That's
a
really
big
cool.
movie. It was really a family, and it was the start of a family, like a family affair, because we all worked on a bunch of stuff after that together.
How long can I ask about Independence Day and or just like on set? How long are you on set for and gone for?
Usually on a big movie like that, it's 5 months,
Wow.
6 months. It's a long time.
It's a
In fact, you're gone longer than that because usually you arrive early to
Yeah.
prepare it.
Yeah.
Independence Day was shot. We were in New York. We were in Utah. We were in LA. We weren't gone quite so long because we did a lot of the shoot in LA. But for things like The Patriot, I was gone for 8 months.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
it is a long haul.
Where were you at for the
We
Patriot?
were in South Carolina. We actually shot right by the places that
Hmm.
the events that actually took place for Francis Marion, who was the guy that Mel's character was based on.
Wow. Okay, so what
So
is
Independence
Yeah.
Day,
Yeah.
The Hangover,
Yeah.
it was crazy fun.
Being
How
on
could that
set,
not be fun?
being on set, was it so fun and
Yeah.
funny?
Yeah, it was.
Like what we all imagine.
hmm
More?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a very well-written script, but then, just things would come out of improvisation, especially Zach, would just,
Oh my gosh.
he always had something coming out that you're just like, what?
His,
Where did that come from?
his comedic timing is unlike anybody
Mhm.
else's. He's so funny to me. Well, okay, The Patriot, you were gone for 9 months, 8, 9 months. What does that look like when you have a family? And I think that's a part of the industry. Most of us, like even myself, I didn't even know that.
Right.
So the constant the sacrifice these people's families are making, that the gravity of that is huge.
Yeah, it's really it's a challenge. It's funny, the traveling was my favorite part of the job. I mean, I got to work on movies in Japan, Africa, Europe, all over the place, and I loved it. And then once I had kids, it was the worst part of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 3 kids were like little when we did The Patriot. They
Yeah.
were just little kids. And Jody was very adamant that she was, some people will bring their whole family on set and they'll go to school at whatever place
Yeah.
they're at, especially if they're staying for a long time. But she was pretty adamant that she wanted to keep them at home, in their school, in their thing.
Yeah.
So,
And like the routine. All
yeah,
that.
which I think was really important. But on the other hand, then I would get to see them, like on The Patriot. I think they flew out for Thanksgiving. That was the only time.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
flew back a couple of times. I had to fly back to LA for some business for maybe a couple of days. That was it.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
And they're little.
Mm-hmm.
And then you miss your wife, you miss your family. What is it like coming home after 5 months or 8 months?
It's the greatest, especially when you're done shooting, because things then usually the first couple of weeks after you're done shooting, the editor's cutting all the material together. So you've got a little break before you're going to start looking at the first cut and
Yeah.
everything. And it's a great feeling.
You are such a devoted husband and father. What has family taught you that Hollywood never could teach you?
Well, I had 3 girls. So that was an incredible education for me, I
Yeah.
think, and probably really helped me grow as a father and as a person.
Yeah.
Just really being able to see things through my daughter's eyes a little
Mhm.
bit was a great, great thing for me. They definitely changed me in a great way.
Yeah. Do you feel like they softened you?
Yeah. Yeah. It just made me more aware that
Yeah.
there are different perspectives than the male perspective, I guess, whatever you would call it.
Did it help you in even picking movies in the future or storytelling and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, especially as they got older, I'd always get their thoughts on what
Yeah.
they thought of the movies that we were working on and all that kind of stuff. So it was great for that.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
incredible.
mainly just, getting me to mature and grow up a little bit.
Yeah. That's interesting. I know because little girls, they are so sweet and empathetic and nurturing. And
hmm
so bringing out all those sides of you is probably so fun.
Yeah, it was really great. And they're amazing kids. I'm incredibly lucky.
You are. They're such incredible girls, and their families are so beautiful. You're also a musician,
Yes.
which is how we met.
Uh-huh.
How does music influence just the way that you go about storytelling as well? Because music's all about storytelling. But how did you get into music, and then how is it translated into what you do with film?
I was always interested in music. I started out playing trumpet and trombone and jazz and stuff like that. And then when I was about 16, realized that girls like guys who played rock and roll. So I
Smart.
I picked up the bass. I kept playing the trumpet and trombone. I played trumpet in a jazz band in college, like a Latin jazz band, which was
Yeah.
an amazing experience. But bass was really the instrument that I fell into, and I love singing. So being
Yeah.
able to play bass and sing was fantastic. So I played in bands in my 20s and everything, and then got too busy with movies.
Totally.
And then in my late 40s, got together with a couple other people in the movie business who'd been touring musicians when they were younger, but then had to find real jobs. and and we put a band together and started to play. And then this promoter, who I think you even
Yeah.
know, Reed,
Yeah.
sort of discovered us and said, "You'd be great opening up for my 80s bands." So we've opened up for Foreigner and REO Speedwagon and the Beach Boys and
Yes.
Jefferson Starship. So
That's so
it's the
huge.
coolest thing ever. We get to go out in front of these huge crowds and play.
It's
And then we play, well, like we just had a gig last
Yeah.
weekend at the Canyon Club where we were
Yeah.
playing in front of 300 people, and that's really fun too.
I know. I'm so bummed I missed it. I can't wait to come to the next one though. I thought you guys were incredible. I
Oh, thanks.
so we were at Alice Cooper's Christmas pudding doing his charity event, and you guys went on, and I believe it was REO Speedwagon was there as
Yes.
well, right?
Yeah.
And Styx and like a bunch of other
Mhm.
guys. So I
One of my
thought,
rock and roll thrills, by the way, is I got to go up at like Kevin Cronin.
yeah,
His manager came and got me before they were doing their encore of Keep on Rolling.
yeah,
And he grabbed me and said, "Kevin wants you to come up and sing backup."
no way. You're like,
I'm
it's
on stage with Kevin Cronin.
such a surreal pinch me moment,
Yeah.
right? You know what was so cool is Alice and Cheryl had asked me to do it a few years in a row. And one of the years in the dressing room was Ted Nugent. He just had his guns out.
Oh.
I was like, it was just so funny just seeing like all the different people walking in and out and Johnny Depp and just
Mhm.
all of it. And music's so beautiful that way. Do you notice cross collaborating between people who wanted to be in the film business that are also musical? And then
Absolutely.
musical that wanted to be in film, just either they made it in one genre, but
Yeah.
yeah,
No, and I mean, being in LA, you're always running into, I mean, I was just at a thing last night where half the people are in the music business
right,
and about half of them are in the film business. And it's
right.
a great, so there's a lot of creative energy that's sort of cross-pollinating
Yeah, that's so
there for
cool.
sure. And I just love music. I mean, um, you know,
Yeah,
the funny thing is I've never really made one of those musical biographies.
I
I
know.
worked on one with Little
Yeah,
Richard for a long time, and it ended up getting made a while back.
really.
And I was busy with something else, so I didn't get to actually produce it. But
It's interesting. I feel like that would have been such a natural lean for you.
hmm
Maybe in the future.
oh yeah, I'm not giving up on it for
Let's go.
sure.
Um, how important is music to a film?
It's critically important.
Hmm.
Um, making a decision on the composer is like one of the 2 or 3 most important decisions you have to make on a movie
That's
because they can make everything. I mean, we got to work with David Arnold on Independence Day, who did.
He's
I
so
mean, he's done
incredible.
all the Bond movies
Hmm.
and everything, and then John Williams
Mm,
on the Patriot. I
yeah.
mean, there's nobody better than John Williams. And then working with some amazingly talented guys, uh, George Draculius, for example, on The Hangover and a bunch of other movies. These guys who they're not composing themselves, but they're putting together the music
Yeah.
for the movie. And if you think of something like The Hangover, I mean, they just nailed it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I mean that brings so much life and spirit to the movie and the scenes.
Absolutely. I thought about how Top Gun, just the soundtrack for Top Gun is
Right,
so,
it's driving.
yeah,
Right.
so important.
Mm-hmm.
You have managed this incredible career, but you have stayed so unbelievably humble. And I want to know,
You sure?
yes, I'm certain. I can say that for a fact. Like, well, obviously anyone watching you right now would just know that you're so kind. And where do you believe that comes from?
I think it comes from my parents and my
Mhm.
background, and I think, I don't know how else to be,
Mm.
but I think also it's been really helpful for me to be very grounded, and I still feel like a guy who grew up in, outside in rural Washington State.
Mm.
And I think that's really been an advantage for me in terms of the movies that I work on and recognizing movies that I think are going to work for audiences, because I feel like I'm, as much as I could, I mean, living in Beverly Hills and working in the movie business, keep a perspective on life, and keep a perspective on America, and keeping a perspective on
Mm.
what I think people want to see. And I certainly think that's been one of my real gifts, is
Yeah.
being able to have a sense of what's going to work and what's not going to work, what people want to see, and what's going to move them.
Yeah, like outside of LA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's
No,
so
because you see,
important.
definitely, it can be an insular society, and you see movies get made here where you kind of go, that's not
Yeah, the
the
real
movie that
world.
people. Right, right.
Yeah.
You're making movie for a,
Yeah.
you're making a movie for a niche, not a global
Yeah.
audience.
How important are awards for you?
Well, I don't have anything on the Oscars, so no, not important at all.
Is that true or is that not true?
But hey, it's just, we my goal was, and the companies that I was involved with, we were always focused on making commercial movies, making
Mm.
movies for big audiences, making movies that people would really
Yeah,
love to see.
I love that.
Obviously, making money is really important, and
Yeah.
as long as you make movies that make money, you get to make more movies.
Mm.
That's a key thing to remember. As long as you're
Mhm.
making movies that make money,
Yeah.
people will keep giving you more money to make movies. So that's important. But also just for me, the thrill of making movies that audiences love and that they
Yeah.
want to see is really important. So, um, you know, we, I just, that wasn't part of my career, really, making movies that win lots of awards. I mean, we've won lots of awards for visual effects and
Yeah.
cinematography and all sorts of stuff like that, but it wasn't really a focus.
And
But
The Dark Knight didn't win, right? Or did it?
no,
No, I
no,
know. People have
didn't get nominated.
I don't
Yeah, actually, they changed the rules, the Academy, to add a couple more films to it
because
after The Dark Knight.
that is
The
yeah.
Dark Knight
Yeah.
didn't, which
Mhm.
is kind of crazy. But yeah, we were never focused on
Yeah.
award type movies. The movies that I make weren't like, I mean, some of them were star driven, but they
Mhm.
weren't star driven vehicles. They weren't, I didn't make a lot of dramas.
It's interesting because if like you're going into it thinking I want to win, you might be disappointed. But because you went into it going, no, I just want the audience to be absolutely in love with this movie, and I want to keep making movies, then your gauge was it's okay.
Yeah, and that was our focus at Legendary right from the start. Our
That's
focus was, we're not in the business to make movies that win Oscars, or, I mean, if we do, that's going to be great, but that's not the business we're in. We're in the business of making movies that are going to really entertain people.
that's so good. Will you tell us about your house and how you found this historic landmark?
Sure. I lived in the house across the street, and we always saw
That's a
this.
hard move.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we moved during Legendary. We moved up into the hills to be closer to Warner Brothers, and then moved back down. But
I love
so
where you live.
yeah, it's a beautiful street, and this is an old Spanish colonial house. It was built 1929, 1930, and the first occupant was a famous actor from the 20s and 30s named Joe E. Brown. And the house was built by what's known as a Beverly Hills master architect. So, so it's for those reasons, and also he had a screening room upstairs. Groucho Marx lived 6 houses down from here,
No
so they
way.
would come hang out here, watch movies. All the big Hollywood stars would come over here and go up to his screening room, which is on the second floor,
It's so
and
cool.
watch movies. We could have done the podcast from the screening room.
Sorry, we're doing it with this
From my
beautiful
office.
from the
Yeah.
office. Oh my gosh, that is so cool, but I want to see it before we
Yeah.
leave.
So it was declared a landmark by Beverly Hills, and
Yeah.
that just means that you can't really change anything in it, which is
Oh,
exactly what we love
yes.
because we don't want to change a thing about this house.
Oh,
We love it.
it's so beautiful. Wow, that's so awesome. And do you just plan on staying here for as long?
Yes,
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah. I love what you shared
Our
that you,
kids love it too.
yes.
We got the pool in back.
Well,
Two of the three kids have
yeah.
gotten married in the backyard, and the third is going to get married in the backyard.
It's
So
we were just talking about it. It's so beautiful and there's so much history, but everything even I was just looking at even how the beam right there is made and how it's like a beautiful face on it and
right.
just everything has the way that they have all the nooks and just the windowsills. There's so much space and we were saying like now they build where they want to just take up all the space and they don't leave a lot of room and
Yeah, you're trying to
yeah.
maximize square footage as opposed to thinking more about like the vibe that you get from the house.
It's just
And
so
this house
beautiful.
hasn't. Yeah,
Would
we're in
you
love with it.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I can tell why. But would you have ever thought when you came here to go to film school that you would be living in this house and doing the films that you did?
No. Although I do remember when I was a student at UCLA, I would drive through these neighborhoods and I would see the old Spanish houses and I would be, oh, someday I really want to have a house like that.
That's so
They're
sweet.
so cool.
That's awesome. Okay, so you said no. You really did you just thought maybe it was too out of reach?
Yeah, just wasn't sure where it was going to go. It's a tough business. I always knew I wanted to, I wanted to write and produce, but then early on realized that I could do a lot more as a producer than a writer.
That's
Uh,
interesting. Yeah. I want to know, can you tell us about the hardest seasons or the hardest setbacks that you had and how did you overcome them? How did you keep getting up? And I feel like so much of life is like begin again, start over.
for sure. Well, the first job I had out of film school was working where I met my wife, and that company, I got promoted to associate producer, and then the company went bankrupt.
Wow.
And then I went to work for another producer as a co-producer,
Yeah.
and that company went bankrupt. So my first two experiences in Hollywood were with companies that went bankrupt and, basically left me like totally out in the air.
Wow.
So that was those
And
were huge
what was
setbacks.
how many years was that spanning?
Now that was like the first 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I was out of school, 2.5 years.
Yeah, that's brutal.
And so that's actually when I got the job as a production assistant working on the Roger Corman movie.
Oh, yeah.
I managed to talk my way into working as assistant cameraman. Interesting side story. It was on the second unit, which they'd set up. The film was kind of a disaster. And so they needed somebody to come in and shoot a bunch of extra footage and shoot all the visual effects for the movie. And so they set up the second unit and they put the production designer of the movie onto it, who was young Jim Cameron.
Hmm.
So my first
Wow.
real experience there was working as assistant cameraman for Jim Cameron.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
We were just talking about it
I
like 2
know.
weeks ago.
That's incredible.
Because Jim and I were, his producer was my best friend, John Landau, and he passed recently.
Oh,
And so Jim and I were together at the launch of, John had written a book just before he passed. So we were at the launch of the book.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he was an amazing guy, like a
guy.
perfect,
Oh,
just an incredible role model for everybody
yeah.
who ever worked with him.
I've heard
Like
that.
the greatest guy in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
thank you.
Oh my gosh, Jim Cameron.
Yeah. So that was an interesting experiment and or experience, but I kind of just went on from there and did a couple of small jobs, wrote a script or two that got made into
Yeah.
movies, and then got a shot raising some money and got back, got
Yeah.
it back going again. But yeah, it really, after the first 2 or 3 years, I was sitting there going, this is just a dead end. I'm never going to get anywhere. I remember waking up one morning in my bed and just going, I don't think I can get out of bed today.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a
Luck
hard
is
thing.
not happening for me.
Yeah. It's hard too because I'm sure you're around people who are succeeding too,
Yeah.
all around you, right?
Right. No, and then we all compare ourselves to Steven Spielberg, who, was 25 and he's directing these huge movies for studios.
Yeah.
You're going, I'm 25 and I got nowhere.
Yeah, and the company went bankrupt again.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just bad luck, apparently.
If you could give advice to somebody who truly loves film and loves directing, producing, writing, right now? I mean, I know it's different world right now, but what is your greatest advice you would give them?
Well, the business is changing radically. So there are so many new and different ways to get in, and at the same time, it's as tough or tougher than
Mm-hmm.
it's ever been to really break in a big way. Um, I think going to film school was great for me for the reasons that I said. You learn how to you get your hands dirty doing everything, and that's a great background for people. Um, you have so much more tools to make movies yourself now.
Hmm.
That I mean, I think if you're somebody who wants to produce or direct, you just want to start making movies.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
get a
start.
little camera.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need many lights anymore. The you know, I mean, the stock is so fast now that you can shoot things with little
Mm-hmm.
to no lighting. So you just need to get out there and make stuff and then show it.
Show it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you're here in LA or someplace where you've got access to people, try and get a job as a writer's assistant or a director's assistant or a producer's assistant and really
Mhm.
kind of learn the business that way.
It's interesting how you said you talked somebody into letting you be the camera guy.
Hmm.
Like that, a lot of it's that, right? Just like
A little
positioning.
chutzpah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
basically, yeah, determination and
Believe in
just
yourself. Yep.
yeah.
And being okay with making yourself look like a fool.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like even doing the podcast, I'm like, I'm putting so many stories out there, putting so much out there. It's scary. It's, there's a lot of fear that comes involved of being so vulnerable and putting yourself out there,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't talk about
It
it
is.
because it looks
And
like confidence, but I
right.
feel like it's behind and everyone I know in this industry or in any of those industries, we're all like, man, we have so much doubt or fear or insecurities or all of that.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're one step away from, you know,
Mhm.
from humiliation, right?
Yeah.
You can make a couple of great movies and you make a movie that just doesn't work and everybody in the business is going, why'd they do that? They were insane. That was the dumbest thing ever. That was never going to work. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
Yeah. And
that's rough on your ego.
oh, yeah, that's terrible. And honestly, it's like if you're only as good as your last film or only as good as the last thing you did, it's like what an hard industry to be in
Yeah,
general, you know?
that's for sure.
Well, tell me about you do a ton philanthropically and with charities, and I would love for you to share about the board that you're on and the gala. I think you do a gala here, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do once a year at the house.
Yeah. I think like the reason I started this podcast, I was like, I started a nonprofit and we've helped a ton of unhoused community in Arizona and women and children in need. We've actually given over 26,000 bags to women and children in need.
I know you do some great work. That's so terrific.
I'm Thank you for saying that. I'm so grateful to see like where it will go. But in doing it, I started partnering with so many different nonprofits and so many different organizations that were loving on our community. And I was like, gosh, if I could start a podcast and I could hear about everybody's like heart for philanthropy and what it means to give back,
Right.
that's why I was like, I want to do that. So
That's pretty great.
yeah, so that's what we're doing, and I love it. So I'm loving hearing people's stories of what led them into getting into the nonprofit they're involved in or the charities they're involved in, and the importance I think of getting outside of ourselves and giving back.
For sure. For sure. It's a pretty great feeling. So the way this came about was actually the charity was started by a very close friend of mine from Stanford.
Okay.
And he was a very successful screenwriter. Like he was the guy that was like way up here when the rest of us were struggling. I mean, he seemed to like
Yeah, he
got
got
a
it.
huge agent at William Morris. He had all this stuff going on. Incredibly talented writer. When his daughter was about 8 years old, the mother passed away, and he became a single parent
Oh,
instantly. And so through that, started to get very involved in her schooling and everything, and really found that there was something missing in terms of what kids were getting from school. And it was really kind of about their soft skills, their soul, their character,
oh,
their sense of civic community, all those sorts of things that they weren't getting taught in school. They were learning how to read and write.
right.
And so he, being a screenwriter, first of all, he quit his job
Wow.
and devoted himself completely to this. And as a screenwriter, he thought, what can we do that can help these kids? And he started writing these one-act plays. And so the charity was built around the kids in the school, like 4th to 8th graders, mostly underserved schools, who write and perform these one-act plays. And these one-act plays are all built around historical figures like Galileo, Socrates, Sitting Bull, and each one of these little one-act plays tells a story about, being true to yourself, or, respect for your fellow
Yeah.
person, communication skills. And we take it into these schools, and it's has an incredible effect on the
my
kids.
gosh, I love
Incredible.
it.
Yeah. They, kids that wouldn't say a word in school suddenly will get up and
Mm,
be able to give a speech in front of the crowd. So it's building up their confidence.
yeah.
It's building up their team building. It's building up their character,
Yeah.
and I think everybody across the political divide, for all the
Oh
crazy
my
stuff that's
gosh,
going
yes.
on, everybody can agree that, you know, that we need help in schools building
Oh yeah.
kids' character.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
that's really where the focus is. And we've served 60,000 kids,
Oh my
at
gosh.
least, I think maybe 65,000. We had a program in Maine, a program in Boston. We've worked all across the country, and it's just incredible. And we have people that went through it. We've now been doing this for 25 years, and we've got kids who went through it, or 20 some years, I guess. And kids who went through it a long time ago as adults that will come back and say, this changed my life. It's the best thing that I ever did.
What is it called?
Spirit series.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And what is the man who started it, his name?
Richard Strauss
Oh,
is his
wow.
name. And he's still the executive director.
That's
And so,
incredible.
yeah, he strong-armed me into joining the board a while back. But I've loved it. I've really
Oh,
loved it. And then about 4 years ago, I became the board chairman on it.
oh, I love
So
it.
we work together. We're talking later today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Please tell him I think what he's doing is exceptional.
It's
but-
tremendous. He's one of the most exceptional people I've ever met.
Yeah.
He's incredibly driven and dedicated to this.
Oh my
And
gosh, you can
it's,
tell.
yeah, he's got a true passion for it, and it's making a big difference for
It's
people.
so important, though, that the younger generation knows how beautiful their heart is and how, just to be able to even use words to articulate a moment. And a lot of them, I feel like they're not even certain how to do that, like you're
Yeah.
saying. And so you're giving them these historical figures to reenact. It's
Yeah,
pretty
and
incredible.
you're learning these great lessons, like just power of compassion, all
Oh,
that sort of thing comes through with it.
huge. If you could tell anybody the importance of giving back and what it does for you, for your soul.
It's 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 the most important part of life, is giving, right? Giving to others. That's what makes it worth living. I think it's hard to imagine just living for yourself and being caught up in a bubble. I don't think you're ever really satisfied.
Yeah.
So getting out there and doing it just makes a huge difference.
I so agree. Oh my gosh. I just think what you said is just so true. This life is such a beautiful gift, but we all have pain. We all have heartbreak. We have suffering. And then we have the most beautiful, like grief is not linear. So then we have the good days. And I think I don't understand the point of going through it all and not being able to share with others and help others and give
Right.
back.
No, and getting your mind off your own problems
Yes.
is a very important key to life, right?
Hugely important, especially when we're all on our like cell phones all the time or
Hmm.
all on like, there's so much technology now.
Oh yeah, I think it's harder than ever, and harder than ever on kids. That's a great part of the program that we're
Oh,
doing, is that
yes.
it's really sort of focusing you on something other than
Yeah.
just what's going on in front of you or
Yeah.
on your screen.
I know. How much has social media changed? When you look at just even film and just the world, how much has it changed?
Well, it's definitely it's interesting because I remember reading something about 10 years ago from a child, some big clinical child psychologist, who said, who was warning about cell phones back then, like
Hmm.
smartphones, and saying, we're in the middle of the biggest unsupervised scientific experiment in history on children
Yeah.
and children's brains.
Yeah.
And he was right about that.
I know. Scary though.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
pretty scary.
do you notice it changing the industry too? Just AI, social media is
Yeah,
changing.
well, I mean, it's uh, all those things have made a big change. I mean, you just look at um, how like short content has become
Mm-hmm.
so key, just because attention spans
Mm-hmm.
are changing. People want just short bursts of things. So for a movie producer, obviously that's troubling
I know.
because
Yes.
we like it when people go into a theater with a whole bunch of people and have this huge
Yes.
communal experience. And
Yeah.
watching a movie is a communal experience,
It
right?
really is.
People are laughing together.
Yeah.
You are taking all this energy off the audience that you're seeing the movie with.
Yeah.
And, if you're just looking at a little screen and watching something for a couple of minutes, you're
Yeah.
not getting the same sort of impact.
It's the same as like streaming. You're watching it with maybe yourself or your family. But I
Mhm.
mean, I love going to the movies. So I do.
Good.
I love it so much. I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of people who still do,
Right.
thankfully. You know what I mean? Like I love
Yeah,
it.
hopefully people are starting to get back into it a little
Mhm.
bit.
Yeah. What year did you retire from Legendary?
Well, we sold I left Legendary in 2012 and we sold the company in 2016.
That's
Yeah.
and so you haven't made a film in a while.
Well, I made a few independent films
Okay.
after that.
And
Yeah.
how is that going?
It's great.
You
It's
love it.
fun. Yeah, because it's still very stressful, but there's something great about just being on the set and making a movie where we can do anything we want.
Oh,
We don't have to consult the studio. We don't have to worry about 10 different executives or anything. We can just, it's like, that scene's not working. Let's just throw it out and do something else. And we just make this decision on the spot. So
that's so fun.
that's kind of fun.
And so you can't do that when you're working with a studio. You can't just
Well, I mean, no, I mean, you're, first of all, you're spending a lot more money
Yeah.
and just out of respect for the people that are financing it,
Mhm.
you have to make sure everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So
Will you tell me more about the job that you're in now? Because I love
yes.
what you're doing.
So,
And
I,
as well as being a touring musician.
yeah, well, I was supposed to start, this big movie, in early 2020 and COVID hit and
Okay.
everything was shut down. The movie business was completely shut down.
Yeah.
And so, right about that time, a friend of mine from school, from college, came to me. He's an inventor and engineer and tinkerer, and he's works with a couple other guys that work out of this inventions kind of laboratory in Culver City. They came up with this electromagnetic process that when you run a wine or spirit through this electromagnetic field, you can actually change on a molecular level. You can make changes in the spirit to make it, or the wine to make it taste better, like
Wow.
bring a certain flavor forward or push a certain flavor back. If it's over oaked, you can push a little bit of the oak back, and it's really kind of amazing technology. So
That's incredible.
so they came to me originally saying, would you help us, look for financing and maybe help us, like, so we can build a prototype for this? And I said yes. And after about 2 months, I got so excited about it that I said, I'll just come in and run the company. I'll be the CEO and I'll put all the movie business stuff on hold.
That's so great.
So I did that and I jumped in with both feet. We raised a couple of rounds of financing. We build this electromagnetic system that wine companies and spirit companies use to make their stuff better.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's a startup business, so we're still growing, and we've got all the usual growing pains, but it's amazing technology. The guys who invented it are really,
Yeah.
really geniuses.
And
So all the movie stuff is on hold, except for one thing. I'm working on a stage play that eventually we hope to take to Broadway. It was written actually by
Yeah.
a composer from Phoenix, wrote the music to it, and it's based on this movie that came out about 25 years ago called Happy Texas, which is a really cool little movie, and it's going to be an amazing
Oh,
stage show. We got great music, and it's really, really fun.
I can't
So
wait.
still
When-
working on that, but most of my focus is on this wine and spirits technology company, and it's been amazing for me to do this whole sort of like 90-degree turn.
Oh yeah.
I've always been kind of technically minded, but to really dive in and be working with chemists and physicists and
That's so fun.
these smart inventors is really cool.
Has it been a good change to not be working on film?
Yeah, for me, it's just I'm just a curious person. So being able to do something totally different and learn about a whole new business and all sorts of new stuff that I didn't know is great.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie? Like personally, not the one you've made, just like, or maybe it's one you've made.
My
but-
favorite movie, it's a cliche to even say it.
No, say
because
it.
it's The Godfather. And everybody goes, yeah, well, great. Couldn't come up with
Why-
anything more original than that. But I mean, if I'm
but
being
why?
honest,
Yeah.
it's The Godfather. Just because it's from beginning to end, it's just an incredible creation and with amazing characters that you absolutely fall in love with
Yeah.
or in hate with. But just it's kind of the perfect movie in terms of the way it's constructed and how deeply you get into this family. And it's, as they've always said, it's like treating the mafia like it's a family movie is what it is. Basically, they
Yeah.
just happen to be in the crime business.
Yeah.
So
They like
love
to,
that.
They like to kill people.
Yeah.
Who is, I guess, your inspiration for producing and directing?
Wow. I mean, Billy Wilder is certainly a big influence. Spielberg is a
Oh.
huge influence. It's I mean, in terms of modern directors, Christopher Nolan
Oh my
is
gosh. So exceptional.
incredibly talented. As a producer, I don't know. I mean, Jerry Bruckheimer, I guess,
Mhm.
since I was practically a kid, has
Yeah.
been always amazing in terms of the kind of movies he makes and how he just gets them done
Yeah. That's
and
pretty
his success.
What do you hope that your legacy is when all is said and done?
Oh man, that's not a question for somebody like me to answer.
Yes, it is. It's a great.
I'm, I had a great career. I was really fortunate. When I look back on it, I just look at it as a series of fortunate events that I got lucky with.
Mhm.
Just being in the right place at the right time, getting the chance to do Independence Day, getting the chance to
Yeah.
team up with Thomas and build this big company. I mean, it's hard for me not to look at it and go, well, this stuff just fell in my lap, and I was, I just
Yeah, like right place,
got
right
to be,
time.
yeah, I just got to be part of it. But I do know that I worked really hard.
Yeah, you did.
In terms of a legacy as far as my kids and everything go, just that they're inspired to do their best and do
Yeah.
something that they can be, you know, I guess you can say it's following your passion, but it's also just following your curiosity. I mean, I
Mhm.
really tried to follow my curiosity with everything that I do.
That's really good
You know,
advice. Yeah.
like, wow, that's something cool. I don't know much about it. I want to see what happens.
Yeah. That's really incredible. Um, I just can't thank you enough for being on.
It's my pleasure. You're terrific.
You're terrific. You know how much I love you and your wife. So,
Right back at you.
oh, thank you. Though, thank you for this. And I could talk to you for hours. I want to go to dinner again and just hear
Yeah,
all
we'll
the
do that.
stories. um, Thank you though. Thank you for having us.
I'll tell you the stories that I can't just say on camera.
know. Sorry, guys. We got to turn the cameras off.
Yeah.
We need to go hang out. No, I love it though. And I loved being here. And it was so good to see you and Jody. And I can't wait to spend more time with you.
Great to see you
Great.
too. And I'm so excited about your podcast and you're getting amazing guests. I mean, I'm flattered.
I'm so honored to have you on. Are you kidding me? But also, like, it has been so cool because just like you said, like the love of music, the love of, sports or arts, it's so amazing how those worlds all cross so much. And so I feel really humbled that people are saying yes, like you have said.
Hmm.
I honestly have to keep pinching myself. I think I told like these surreal moments we have in our careers where I'm
Right.
like, even when I was sitting here just talking to you, I'm like, I can't believe we're doing this. I've been editing a bunch and I'm like, this is the coolest experience. It's tons of work, as you know, but I'm so grateful. I was really like fearful going into it. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to lean into it and I'm going to go do it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
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 You took a chance.
I did. I followed my curiosity.
Yes, you did.
Look at the advice. Okay, guys, thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much. Oh, this was so great.
So good, you
Oh
guys.
my
My
gosh, it
pleasure.
was so fun. Thank you for spending time with us today. The heart of the podcast is to highlight incredible stories of hope and the gift of giving back. I'm truly loving learning about each guest nonprofit and the impact they're making. If you'd like to learn more or get involved, you can find links to every charity mentioned on my YouTube and my Instagram under each episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.